Yep. As soon as you
Okay.
hit share, I have it so that you can do that.
Okay. And so can I give you my school link so when I mention it, you can just put it in the chat? Because I didn't get
Yeah,
a chance to make a page for it.
that's okay.
Um,
Just send it to me. I will take care of everything.
do you want it in the chat or you want it
Yeah, if you
in,
send it to me in the chat right now, no one else will get it until later.
or I can send it in Messenger? What do you want?
No, send it to me in the chat.
Send it in the chat. Okay. So hold on, I gotta go in another page. I might lose
That's
you.
okay, we have time.
I am not proficient in this.
It's all right. You
And
don't have to
then
be.
I really kind of want it. So if I can't do three things at once, apparently.
Oh, that's terrible. Who are you?
I know.
I'm so
Okay,
embarrassed for you.
that should work.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, I have
Does
four
that?
people in here. Hold on.
Oh, they're already in.
No, it's just I have you, I have my Fathom note taker. Okay, it's just us. And I have people in the waiting room. Okay, let me
Oh,
see. Yep, I have your school right here.
oh crap! Where'd you go? Okay, so I complicated things and I have a PowerPoint that I've made, but I also have a holistic foot care wellness workbook, like book that we could always email to everybody after if you wanted.
Oh,
So I could
yes,
mention
that'd be
that.
lovely.
Um, and it was kind of my outline, but I got to figure out how to switch between screens. But I'm also very hands-on, so I thought maybe if we have like a Q&A, they could be putting questions in there, and then you could be like telling me what the questions are,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I could maybe do that.
I am here to support you in whatever way that you need me to support you. So we're
Oh, I
solid.
appreciate that. Look how horrible I look. My housekeeper lost my makeup bag. I'm like, I had
Where did she lose your makeup bag for
I
the
had
love?
it on the stairs to bring upstairs. I was gonna do, and then she touched it and she got into a little bit of a spat over my bed sheets with my daughter and my husband. It became a whole thing, and she doesn't know where she set it down because I had it downstairs when I had to get ready for an event Saturday night. And I'm like, so I have like no eyeshadow, no mascara. Do I look okay? And
Yeah,
I'm
you
at
look
work.
great. I would, you know what? One of the things I love about Zoom is that it's very forgiving.
Okay, well, I didn't know because I've also worked my butt off all day today. Went
I
home to
know.
eat, came back. It's been crazy.
I know.
Not in a bad way, but just
I could sense it when you were writing me, so I get it.
feast or famine. It's like, come on.
It's like we
You
could
know,
never
my
win.
nervous system needed a lot of breathing. I
We
need to breathe a lot.
It's been a lot. It's
So,
been a lot. It's been a lot altogether. So, I mean, I get it. Don't worry. I'm here for you.
yeah.
And
Well,
that
the
is why,
funeral.
and that is why I run my workshops the way I run them, where I take care of the chat, I take care of who comes in. All you have to do is bring your beautiful self here, and that's it.
That's great. I have a lot of people that are going to end up on the replay and people that we were all stupid trying to figure out how to register. So I said I will directly get you the replay link when it's done.
Oh, yeah, don't
So I
worry.
have a couple people in the nail world that I really want to see this.
Oh,
So,
good. Was going to do is what I was going to do is that I want to create I want to create bits and pieces of this. I'm going to send this to you anyway. That it's on what on Fathom, the note taker.
yeah,
So you can get the full thing, but you can also edit it. So it'll be really nice for you to have all of these different because I'm gonna edit it and I'm gonna turn it into like little bits and captions and stuff like that because I think that your presentation definitely needs to be out there. We don't
no, thank you.
we don't
Figuring it out how to get it out there, but I
this is how we do
working
it.
on it.
Well, this is
I
how we do it.
appreciate you. I'm excited. I've never had an hour and a half other than when I went to Gatlinburg for a 3 hour workshop, but to talk about it.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why when we meet the right people, things happen. I'm very tech savvy and I'm a forward thinker and that's where I get really stuck. because I start creating things and people aren't ready for it.
Okay. Well, you're tech savvy. I might need to take you up on a few little questions I have on that at a future date because there's some things I really want to do, and especially in school to build out. And I'm ready. I just the
I don't
technology
know.
for me.
I don't know school at all,
Well,
but
it has to do with like I have to get like say this is done. I have to get it on YouTube. I can get it into school, but it's YouTube stuff I don't know how to do.
oh, well,
Can you see my shoe?
I can.
Okay. Well, I'm making sure I have the right distance for the camera for all my props. That's a wide toe box, by the way. Look how wide the toe box is.
I love it. Are those Hokas?
These are topo,
Topo, okay.
and these are narrow. Look.
Oh, and yeah, I don't wear the ones on the left. I
But a
mean
lot of people do.
on your right.
I
Yeah.
know what you mean, but a lot of people do. But I'm also doing that to show how to tie a shoe. So anyway,
Okay.
all right, when
Awesome.
you're ready, because yep,
All right. It's
we'll see how it
7:02.
goes. Try. I should probably put my hair back. I keep fidgeting. Lost my hair tie.
I just
Great.
had dinner, so I'm like full.
I had it a while ago because it's a
Well,
lot later here.
because
I
I was
told
gonna
Jamie,
say, like, duh.
I'll be like, well, I'll just see you tomorrow. I'm like, all right, bye. I just kept texting him so he doesn't think like I'm cheating on him or something.
All right. I'm gonna start letting people in so that we
All
can
right.
get
I can't.
grounded.
Oh, here's my hair tie on my wrist.
Hello, Valerie. I kicked your chat your note taker out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was like, you're out of here. Hi, Heather. You're muted, so we can't hear you.
I was getting there. Sorry.
No sorries. How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
It's been a long day for us, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I know. We started early. I know that there's a Megan here. Hello, Megan. And I have a 1603 here.
My area
Oh,
code, so
that's
someone I know.
Jessica.
Hi,
Hi.
Jessica.
It is. It's me.
Hi. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give us just a couple of minutes to see if anybody else comes in, but I would like to start this session with a moment to just ground and kind of arrive into ourselves. It's been a very, very, very long week for us in the States with just one thing after the other and around the world. And so, hi, hi, Magenta. I was like, who's this
Hello.
Megan from Australia?
Yeah, I don't know why it says Megan. I'm not.
Because you forgot the TA.
Well,
You forgot
clearly.
the magenta. It's all right.
I'll work on it.
I think that you can change your name, but I forget where you do that. Yes, Valerie, did you have?
Go to the participants, click on your name, and then click on rename.
Oh, okay, so on participants, you can click on it and then you can rename yourself. Yeah, that's a good there's always someone who knows. So I'm happy for that. So what I'd like to do is I would like for us to take just a moment to ground. Like I said, there's just a lot going on in the collective. And I think it's important for us as a collective and as women to consider all of the women who are victims of all of this abuse that has been going on in their lives since they were children, and to just take a moment to connect, because if we have one thing in common worldwide is that women are vulnerable. Children are vulnerable. And one of the reasons that my work exists today is because I love children. And as a survivor myself of all of that kind of abuse, my work is directed to the women to help strengthen them so that they can then stop the abuse right there and change their lineage. So indirectly, when I work with women, I'm really working with the intention of saving their children. And so I want to invite you to put your hand on your heart. And if you want to go ahead and close your eyes, you may do so. And just try and feel that connection with your heart. See if you can feel your heartbeat or just the warmth. You don't have to feel it. Maybe it's just the warmth that you get a chance to tap into. And I want you to imagine that you're breathing from your heart space. And with every inhale, your heart grows 3 to 5 feet outside of your body. And with every exhale, you allow your heart to soften. You inhale, and that beautiful heart grows and expands and takes up space. And with that exhale, you allow your heart to soften even deeper. We cannot, should not do anything with a hard heart. We allow our heart to continue to soften, and we breathe in and out through our hearts. And I'm going to invite you to start breathing just a little slower and deeper than usual, finding an easy rhythm that's comfortable. And as you start connecting to that breath, when you feel that shift, taking your time, flip your eyes open in the present and the now. Welcome to Wild Woman Wednesday. I'm really excited to introduce my friend Dawn here, who is all about mind, body, and soul, SOLE. I'd like to give her a warm welcome. Welcome, Dawn, and please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you for having me, Uhkare. It's funny how the universe brings people together. And first of all, thank you for that. I love doing breathing before anything, so that was awesome. And focusing on our heart, especially where it's, February, heart month. So, a little bit about me. Well, you'll learn a little bit more about me as we go tonight, but I want to do a little presentation for you and you'll learn a little bit about me. How's that? This presentation actually got me a TED Talk audition. So I'm going to do for you what I did for my interview. Well, not my interview because I had the audition. So, but this is what I did for my quick little video to kind of explain what I talk about and who I am. So let me know what you think and we'll go from there. Is that okay with you? Okay. So I am Dawn Durocher from, is this backwards or does it say snow caps or does it say not
Yep, it
that?
does.
Okay, because I'm looking at it backwards. Snow caps because literally right now in New Hampshire, in New England, I am in a bunch of snow caps, snow, ice, cold. Also pray for me because I'm about to jump into the Hampton Beach Ocean on Sunday for Super Bowl day for the penguin plunge for Special Olympics, and it's going to be -5. So if you never see me again, you know what happened. No, I'm just kidding. But it's going to be very cold. They're actually setting us weather warnings about the weather for this weekend. But so that's where I'm from. And if you don't know where New Hampshire is, I'm in Rochester, New Hampshire. It's about an hour from Boston. Okay. And so I'm near the lakes, I'm near rivers, I'm near oceans, mountains. I'm pretty lucky in New Hampshire. I'm near everything but desert, which I'm okay with that. I can travel to the desert. But I'm 2 minutes from Maine, and I'm an hour from the ocean, depending which ocean, or I'm an hour from the mountains. I'm 10 seconds from a lake or a waterfall. So I'm pretty, if you ever want to see some beauty, come to New Hampshire. But I'm kind of a nerd or a unicorn, the different colors. I'm called a unicorn for feet because I really bring the magic to medicine and kind of help you translate what your body's trying to tell you in a scientific way. But I'm very nerdy. I read podiatry books and all that. And anyway, you'll find out more why I'm a nerd. But so I like to help people with witch's toes, or what we call troll feet. A lot of people don't like talking about feet. I know it's like science experiments or just gross. Everybody has their own feelings on it. You may not like them touched or whatever, but I like to bring the fun to feet because there's information that I really feel you need to know. And can we all admit, when our feet hurt, we hurt all over and we become Krabby Patties, right? And that's not a joke. As we age or as things change in our body, and a lot of what we're going to go over tonight, we can hurt out of the blue, right? And then it puts you in a bad mood. You are crabby if you can't walk, or if your knees hurt or your feet hurt, right? So Krabby Patty is a good description. So, and it can be a real whopper. Whopper, when you like, I don't know if you've ever stepped on a Lego, if you have kids, or if you have stubbed your toe in the middle of the night, or said choice words because something like that happened, or some of my clients that are dropping 80-pound bags of dog food on their toes, which is a real thing, and a couple people have done it, and it can be a real whopper also to the nervous system. And a lot can be happening with your feet just because of a trauma, and you don't even know that. So also sometimes we can just be walking and we feel those crunchies, or like our feet feel like we're stepping on bottle caps, right? And what is our body really telling us? Because pain is not the beginning of the story. And that's what tonight's going to be about. How the mind, the body, and the feet, the souls, connect and talking. And so I don't know if you've ever had problems and you've looked online, but there is a good and plenty of information on the internet, or becoming your own diagnoses, or WebMD. Like, we can really go down rabbit holes. So I want to help you not be an airhead, okay? But to be a smarty. And that's what we're going to go over some information tonight. And a lot of what we don't understand is that M&Ms is huge. Mobility and movement, okay? And when we have that, or different nutrition things, or minerals, like taking it all together in a holistic viewpoint, we can really change our lives. And it doesn't take a lot. You know, becoming a lemon head, like adding lemon to your water actually makes a big difference. Having lemon in your skincare. Like, so there's so many different things that you can do or avoid. Because sugar can actually do a lot more to the body than just what people think about as diabetes. Okay, there's so much more. Sugar affects everything, the mind, body, and soul, and we'll go a little bit over that. So really, my goal is to be your lifesaver with your overall wellness, with bringing awareness to wellness, and that self-care is healthcare and prevention is protection. So that's my little presentation, and I had to do it in 2 minutes, so it was a lot faster for the audition. But so I'm a medical nail tech, and you probably don't know what that means, but I'm a licensed nail tech in the state of New Hampshire that has taken her training to the nth degree. Anyone who knows me, I could rattle off all the letters that I've done over the past 20 years, including traveling to London to get GATE certified, including going to Canada to study with a German doctor. I've interned with a podiatrist here in Rochester. So all that you probably don't give any care about, but I know a little bit about feet. And as I go into my information tonight, you'll understand some of the stories and my experiences that brought me to study and bring it all together. But that's a little bit about me. So I don't know if that answered the question, but.
If that was enough.
Awesome presentation. Thank you. That actually did get me to do a TED Talk audition, which I did the earlier of January, and I did not get picked, but that's okay. Out of thousands of applicants, I was one of 30 to do an audition to actually do a TED Talk. But I think that it's a little too much for them to grasp for a TED Talk. It's all good. I'm gonna move all this candy. By the way, you notice these are all full boxes and that I'm not eating the candy because, oh my God, that would be a lot of sugar. But I need it off my desk. So, but tonight I really want to, I wanted to kind of open up with kind of let you lead me rather than me just talking at you. Is there any questions or anybody that has concerns about their feet? Because usually it is pain or changes that people notice before they start paying attention to them. I'm going to be quite honest. And after working on feet for well over 20 years, 20, yeah, long time. This is what I've discovered with my clients. I go into assisted living homes. Okay, nail fungus. Anything else? That's a good one, and that's talked about a lot. Yep, we'll talk about that. But really, I wanted to kind of know what you would like to hear about, or if you just want me to go to my presentation. Heels, do you mean your feet healing, or do you mean the heels of the feet?
The heels
Not
of your feet.
Okay. Well, I
Sorry.
wasn't sure. No. Okay. Well, when you say that, what do you mean? Pain or skin?
Like when you walk on your feet, like like your heels hurt, and then like it moves like towards the middle of your foot. You know,
Oh,
it feels
okay.
like you stepped on something, but it'll like hurt for a while, and then that's how it comes and goes, I guess.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to lead into, that's a multi-layered answer. But that's going to lead into typically when I hear that type of stuff or when I have clients here I'm working with it's usually plantar fasciitis starting, but that can be a very loaded thing as well. So why don't I just, you ladies want me to go through my hi Lee, another one from New Hampshire that stayed up late to see me. I appreciate you. Do you want me to just kind of do my presentation, or do you want me to do the Q&A? What do you ladies want?
I think if you do your presentation, because we're in the box of I don't know, I don't know.
Okay, then we'll do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is a total disclaimer. I've been working on feet for over 20 years. I have studied with multiple doctors. I intern with podiatrists, but I am not making any medical claims at all. So if I say it sounds like plantar fasciitis, but I'm not saying you have it, Heather. Okay, I just want to cover myself saying that this is informational only, and that I do hope that you get at least one little nugget out of this. Okay, I think you might get more than one. You might want a notebook. But the other thing is, Uhkare and I were speaking before this. You all come in. I actually have I think it's called Holistic Foot Care Workbook is what it's called, but we're going to get that out to you, all of you, in an email as well, which will be covered on some of the things I'm talking about. And if I figure out how to share my screen, you can actually see it, but I am a little technically challenged, so we'll figure out how this works. But all right, so going into, you just said I share, right?
Yep, all you have to do is hit share.
Then I gotta find it.
It's right at the bottom where there's a green arrow looking up.
No, I mean I'm in that. Now I gotta find
Okay.
my actual
Presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I just get to my desktop? Advanced. Okay, well, this could be a learning curve. Let me see if I can use this. Center layout. Okay, can everyone see this? Which looks really bad. Hold on.
It actually oh, here we go. Yeah.
Ah, where'd it go?
Well, we can see it.
That's great. I can't. Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Do you
I
want to
thought
send
I
it?
had this.
Do you want to send it to me?
This. I send you the
The link
presentation?
to the presentation? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If I do that, oh, well, that's not the link. Okay, does everybody not mind seeing my stuff up top? Because I don't know how to fix this. Can everybody see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, that's good.
Okay. So
I think if you press share presentation at the top right, in the purple, next to your name, if you move to the right, there should say like a presenter view.
okay. Up in my name?
It doesn't have to necessarily be your name. Let me just pull it up so that I can show you.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's
ladies. I don't.
those black squares or whatever that's right there. Because I think right behind there, like right at the very top of that, it
Where
has
it
it
says,
like where you see where that ew, I don't know what just happened.
no, where it says share, do you have a share all the way to the right? There's a little share button. Yeah, I see it. It's all the way
No, it's
to the
all the
right
way to the right.
on
On the
Canva.
Zoom
Yeah,
screen? Oh, on Canva.
on
Oh,
Canva.
you know why? Because our Zoom is hiding it. Hold on, let me move us.
Okay.
Got it.
So
Okay, so now I can do present, right?
there you go. It takes a village.
There we go. Sorry. All right. Hopefully I can scroll.
So if you can move,
Okay.
if you can move us from the left of your screen and put it up, if you move it up,
Okay.
there you go.
Good.
No, it needs to
No,
it needs to go vertical.
I'm trying.
It's okay, just move it all the way to the right and to the bottom.
And now it's not letting me move it at all. You gotta be kidding me.
You just click it and move it.
I'm clicking.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Now let me try moving it. Oh, you are really embarrassing me. There we go. Okay. All right. We'll try this. Everybody can see this?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. So 3 keys to holistic foot care. Um, basically improving mobility, pain-free feet. I'm going to see if I can bring it up on my phone so I can see this better because I can't see what I'm doing. And all right, let me start with, I think it's gonna just not be cooperative. Okay. So basically with when we have pain-free feet, improving mobility, improving nutrition, changing minerals, things like that, we're creating holistic wellness, but really you're creating holistic foot care wellness. So the mind, body, and soul listening to the body through the feet. Okay. The feet are really the foundation. Let's think about where, oh, my paper changed the screen. Oh, there's my puppy. Okay. The feet are really the foundation. If you think about where our nerves end, are in the feet and go all the way up the body, right? We have nerves all the way in from our feet to the brain. And what a lot of people don't realize is that in between all that, our feet are talking to our body, but also to our brain. And there is a huge connection with that. And that's really your holistic wellness. Holistic wellness and also in foot care and foot health is finding the root of the problem and not just curing symptoms or not just jumping to a pill for an ill or a cortisone shot for pain. It's really figuring out your story based on your bio individuality of what is going on. What is it, the underlying issues? I tell people here all the time, has anyone here, raise your hand or comment in the comments, not that I can see them at the moment, but have you ever had a pedicure? Anyone? Okay, so I'm a nail tech. That's what I do. Pedicures, foot care. I do more medical based, very safe and autoclave and geriatric and elderly, but I do a pedicure. Okay, but a pedicure is really for the health of your feet. Not just to have pretty toes, right? But when we think of the holistic part of it, as someone mentioned, they want to know about nail fungus, you wanted to know about the pain in your heels. I mean, these are all underlying symptoms of a bigger issue. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so as you see my puppy here, isn't he cute? It's Thor. That's Thor, my dog. But feet change. And our 30s, 40s, 50s and up, whatever young age you are and youth you are, is, you know, your story. But I have my puppy here because I like to tell people that I think of feet as a wounded animal. The distress has been going on in the body long before the symptom of pain, or in the case of an animal, they start showing symptoms of being sick, comes out. But that's not where the beginning of the story was. Does that make sense? So our feet change. And has anyone here noticed changes in their feet over the past, 5-10 years? You know what I mean? And I ask this to my clients. I'm always telling them. So I'm a nail tech. I do pedicures. And when they come in here, I'm having them fill out this consultation sheet that I'm sorry if some of these questions seem weird, but I'm not your typical pedicurist. I'm taking the puzzle pieces of who you are and trying to put together your puzzle. And now we can move forward with taking care of your feet. And they look at me like, like, I've never heard of such a thing. I'm like, yeah, well, that's why I'm a unicorn. So anyway, so our feet change. And as little puppy Thor here, just think of that wounded animal, because there's so much more to the story. The feet are really our communication centers. Have you ever thought, think of it this way. Have we noticed in this world right now more dementia, Alzheimer's, more kids? Uhkare talked about how she does this for kids, but there's so much going on with kids, and this isn't necessarily all foot related. There's a lot in food and all that we're going to go over. But have you noticed the changes? Like, I'm a Gen X, okay? Aging myself a little bit here. But it was very different. I mean, I think the main thing we dealt with was latex allergies, right? And we still had balloons in the school. And peanut allergy was just coming out. Do you kind of get my feeling here? So Alzheimer, dementia, all this stuff has been increasing more and more and more as these decades have gone on. Okay? But when you think about how much footwear has changed, our food has changed, how much more, I'm going to be quite honest here, and I'm not pinpointing anybody, but how much lazier we've gotten, or not even just lazier, but our life has become a hamster wheel. Okay? And because of that hamster wheel, we've gotten busier. And self-care has gone out the window. Okay? So when we think about our feet as communication centers, that's where the brain and the feet talk. And that communication is getting lost faster and faster. And people don't realize how much of our bodies are sending us signals of decline, and we're not paying attention. So this is where I came up with awareness is wellness. Because being aware of what your body may be telling you, or different changes or things that you're noticing, is talking to you. It is talking to you and telling you, okay. And then when the pain comes in, it's kind of like, the toddler, like, Mom, can I have a cookie, or cookie or snack or glass of milk, or whatever. Okay, kids eat sugar. I'm just gonna go. But if I have a grandson that lives with me, if he wants a cookie or candy, or they hound you, right? Because that's what they do. They try to wear you down. But then they get a little bit more vocal, like, okay, can I please have a cookie, or I did my chores, or whatever. They're getting you more attention. When we start having pain, that's when our body's screaming at us, you better listen to me. And so a lot of people don't understand what to listen to other than pain. Does that make sense? Am I losing anybody, or is this making sense? It's not making sense. Everybody's on the side, so I can't tell. Okay.
Yes, everything makes sense.
Okay. So when I'm talking about holistic foot care, like I said, is finding the root of the problem and listening to the body. Okay. And then where we want to not have that body screaming at us is where the prevention comes in. So prevention is protection, is what I say. One of the things that I want to share with you is, so I met a woman, Ruth. I met her when she was 104.
Wow.
And she was just this little spitfire. I go to her house and I work on her feet. But her family found me after she had been complaining a lot about needing new slippers. And so what they found was, when they looked to see, you know, oh, she needs new slippers, they realized, oh my, this is not a problem of footwear. This is actually a problem of foot care. And I won't go into detail as to what it was. Her feet were in a lot of dire need and had not been cared for a long time. But see, it wasn't that Ruthie, and I took care of her for another 2 years, by the way. She made it to 106. Can you believe that? She, so far to this date, my oldest client, and I have had a couple at 105. I currently have one at 104. So we're living longer. But she, it wasn't that Ruthie was neglecting herself or that her family was neglecting her, okay? But she didn't have this information. She didn't know what her body was telling her or what was happening to her feet, nor did her family. And when this happened is when I realized that awareness is wellness. Because if Ruthie had known some of the things she knew at my age, I'll be 54 in 2 weeks, but if she knew some of the stuff at my age, some of the things that was going on with Ruthie, I mean, I can't promise it would prevent. I mean, she beat cancer 3 times. I mean, this was a tough lady. We used to call her tough old bird. She was still teaching art classes and, you know, but still some things could have been prevented if she had known some of the things at my age. You know what I mean? And so it was then that I realized that things are happening to us for decades and we're not paying attention because we're busy. In the 20s, we're living our life. Maybe in college, we may be figuring out what we want to do in life. And in the 30s, we're kind of getting that down and we're doing our work and maybe partying still a little bit or hanging out with girlfriends or whatever may be going on, or maybe trying to find the perfect guy or whatever. And then in the 40s, okay, well, now we're starting to maybe know some changes and we're starting to do a little bit more self-care because we've had our job or whatever may be going on, different hobbies, and life is changing. And oh, wow, that kind of hurts. Why does that hurt? Okay. The problems have been building up for decades, but now it's coming out like, okay, this is a problem. I'm in pain. What's going on? So that's why I said the pain is not the beginning of the story. So whatever's been happening up to that point is really where the changes were happening. Okay. When we think of our body, now if I start singing the song, you're gonna sing with me, right? You know, the bone, neck bone's connected, the foot bone's connected. Anyway, we're foot bone's connected to the ankle bone's connected to the knee bone. Okay, so we have bones. Where's the camera? Bones, right? Does anybody want to guess how many bones are in the foot?
100 and some?
No.
How many?
In the foot? 100? No. Okay, so there's 26 bones. However, there's technically 28 because there's 2 sesamoid bones on the bottom of the big toe. But that's still a quarter of our bones in the whole entire body, right? And a lot can happen if something is out of place, right? And so what people don't really understand is that the foot itself is a tripod. I can't do it with this guy, but when we come down, we're coming down like a tripod when we're walking, right? When the force is coming down, we're coming down as a tripod, which means toes need to spread, right? And if they can't, you know, crunch, bones change, all that. We're going to get into that when I get into footwear. But there's 26, 28, talk to the podiatrist, 28 bones in the foot, over a quarter of the bones in our body. Okay. However, There's a lot more than just bones. Everybody see my foot? I love this foot. This foot's awesome. Okay. All this is muscles and tissue and tendons, okay? And
Dawn,
that's not,
Dawn, do you mind if you stop your share so that we can see the full picture?
no, sure.
Like in
Sorry.
the bottom where it says, yeah, there we go, so we can see it all.
Can you see it now? Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is my bone, my foot. Okay, can you see me? Because I'm not gonna sit
Yep.
down, so okay.
We can see you.
All right, so this is the foot, and there's lots of tendons, muscles, and as you can see, some wrap around, right? And then some just go straight up. But not only with all this, and with the bones, we have thousands upon thousands of nerves that communicate. Now, when I had asked you if you'd ever stepped your toe, right? And when people tell me that really hurt, I said, well, I know, and I'm sorry, but I'm happy it hurt because you could feel it. Because I deal with a lot of clients that can't feel these nerves anymore. And we're going to go over to why that why that can happen. But if you've heard of neuropathy, right? I'm sure some of you have heard of neuropathy when you can't feel certain parts of your foot. Okay. There's peripheral neuropathy there, and it's not just related to diabetes like a lot of people think. There's also idiopathic neuropathy. Does anybody have any idea what that is? It actually is a neuropathy that doctors can't explain why you have. So I personally call it idiot neuropathy because it irritates me when my clients get diagnosed with idiopathic neuropathy because they can't find the answer. Okay, there's an answer. They're just not finding the root of the problem, right? So we have all that, but then we also have what's inside here. Fascia. You've all heard of that. There is a lot going on in the foot. A lot. And I usually describe it as it's, to me, it's just like so alien from the rest of the body because so much can happen in just the foot. And so when we talk about the mind, body, and soul connection, and I am talking about the way that they communicate, okay? And I mentioned earlier that Alzheimer's, dementia, all these things are increasing, and one of the things I've noticed, and one of my goals is with the awareness is wellness, is because I'm noticing, I just mentioned I have a client is 104. I have another one's 100, another one's 102, and then younger, right? But what does that tell you? We're living longer. However, I see both sides of the coin going into these assisted living homes, independent homes, people's private homes. People have come here. There are people that are living longer that are thriving, and they're social, and their mobility is great, and they're just loving life. But I also see some people just surviving, and pain has become the focus, and they isolate themselves. Because let's talk about it. When you can't actually feel good, you don't want to be around people, right? And I see that a lot, unfortunately, in some homes too. But it's the person, they're just in pain. They don't want to get out of the chair. They don't want to, and then what happens? You don't use it, you lose it. And that's a true thing, okay? So I'm seeing both sides of the coin. And so we want to thrive, not just be surviving, okay? So I'm going to kind of go into some different sections now that will lead us into this overall picture. All right. And hope to God I can share this because this is actually what you'll be getting from me. The thing I don't understand is if I could just get to my desktop to like where my windows are. Maybe I can up here. No.
If you open it first, you can.
Open. Okay, hold on.
So if you
I-
minimize Zoom,
Yep.
that way you can see your desktop,
Oh, here it is.
open it, and then put Zoom back as your main. Put it back
Okay.
into the picture frame, and then you can go into share.
Okay, let me go to share. There it is. Hey, I'm learning. Share. Move. Share. Present. Okay, hold on. This is.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So functional holistic foot care. All right. So basically, I just covered all that, but I do want you to know my mission, I forgot to tell you, is to change the world one soul at a time. So I really appreciate Uhkare having me on here. This just goes over a little bit about the difference between functional and holistic. So as I mentioned, recognizing the mind, body, and soul connection is what's holistic, encouraging breath work, nervous system awareness and presence, how stress, mineral depletion, how that can actually affect your skin, your nails, tissue, and also different nature's tools. I actually created my own magnesium tea soaks, milk tea soaks that I have people actually soak in here and I sell and all that. So because it's very important, but we're going to go over a little bit about that. And then honoring, you know, which I know what Kari will like, cultural and ancestral practices, because feet were viewed as sacred. And that's for a reason, you know, restorative and essential for overall well-being. So this is actually part that I had thrown into a nail tech class that I did, but I actually wanted to leave it in here for all of you. Just ignore the nail tech part, but because it's important. It explains the difference of what holistic is, as opposed to what our normal medical world is thinking. And what makes me a little different is I take all of these things as one on our overall wellness from our feet up. Okay. So traditional pedicure focuses on appearance, where this focuses on wellness and function. And this, like I said, is I had a lot with I don't know actually why this is in here. Okay. I can't see my full screen. Okay. But here you see, okay, so this is one of the things. Protein, breath, hydration, minerals, nails, skin health, all of that. This is actually Love Month, right? And so Uhkare talked about sharing our heart and our heart growing bigger, but I want to talk about a different heart, which leads us into protein. So I want everyone to do me a favor. I know, and this is a good time to stretch a little bit, right? I want everyone to push their chair back, and I want you to stand up. Then I want you to sit back down. And I want you to talk out loud because I can't see the comments, but I want to know, and this doesn't count if someone has an acute injury or something going on, okay? But those of you that stood up, unmute and tell me, did you just stand up? Did you push off a table? Did you have to push off your knees? Did you have trouble standing up? What is everybody's answer? Now everybody's doing it again to see. But tell me, what is the feedback on that?
Okay, well, I have a lot of pain, so mine's not going to count.
That's okay. Not okay, you're in pain. I'm sorry. And I don't want to put you in pain. I'm just trying to teach something. But did anyone,
I used the table to help myself get up.
because you're in pain, so that you would be one that I wouldn't equate this to. But people that are not in pain or that are, you know, just standing up, not to scare you, but if you have to put your hand on your knees or you have to push off the table, not including the Heather over here because she has an injury, they say it can take 10 years off your life. And here's another thing I want to impress upon you. If you can't get up out of a chair, what can you not do later in life? Any guesses? No.
Not going to be able to get out of bed.
Out of bed's one. The big one is you can't get off the toilet. And guess what? Assisted living. I see it all the time. I have clients in assisted living and I'm like, honest to God, why are they here? I mean, I have their medical list, I have their medication, I have all their problems, but they can't get themselves off the toilet and they can't get themselves dressed, so they need assisted living and can't live alone anymore. So what does that mean? Our calf muscle, okay, is our second heart. It is our second heart. And it is very important that we keep it strong. Valerie, you have a question?
I just had a comment because I've had broken bones. There's a toilet seat that has handles that they can push themselves on, so they don't need to have assisted living.
Yes, very true. I'm not talking there. Yes, there are tools out there. I actually had some for my parents, but for a lot of people, it's not just the toilet, but they can't get dressed. I mean, my point is they start losing the function of their legs or the strength, and it has put them into assisted living. But yes, fortunately, there's a lot more tools out there to help people, because I also see that in people's homes. They get these tools and they have help come in and things like that. I actually, one of the reasons I'm passionate about this is I not only go into assisted livings for the past however many years, and Lee actually, if she wanted to share, but she actually had me take care of one of her friends that she was in charge of foot care for years. And not only have I gone into these different facilities and everything, but I've had my own journey with my own parents. And it was quite a journey. Okay. And seeing my dad and my mom lose function in their legs and having to have more help and be in a wheelchair and things like that made me more and more passionate about finding out how to prevent things. And so one of the ways is protein, is to keep our muscles built. And especially as women, as we're in perimenopause or postmenopause, menopause is one day, done with the period, done. So peri and post, with our estrogen and progesterone dropping, we need more and more protein, okay? And we are more prone to plantar fasciitis. More than 46% more women get plantar fasciitis. They can get, more osteoporosis. There's so many different things that unfortunately happen to us as women as our hormones drop. So I've had some clients that have tried everything, PT, just everything under the sun, spent thousands of dollars trying to get help with plantar fasciitis. And I'm like, have you ever had your hormones checked? Guess what was wrong? They got on a little bit of hormone therapy and plantar fasciitis went away. Not saying that's everyone, but I'm just saying it's all correlated. Okay. So protein is really, really important. Hydration. Hydration is really important to keep our lymph system going, keeping our fascia not so tightened, and also helps with our nails. Okay, we can get brittle and ridge splitting nails for hydration. And when I say hydration, not just necessarily drinking hydration, but actually the products we use. Being careful we don't use things that are too occlusive to the skin, or if we have some cracked heels or we have really, really dry skin, we want a product that will be a little occlusive to hold in the moisture of the skin. So it's very important. And then minerals, okay, there's a whole training I do on Feed Your Feet, and a lot of this is in that, but magnesium, calcium, potassium, zinc, all these things are important for our nerves, but they're so important for our feet and for that communication. And breath. I mean, Uhkare point that out in the beginning, because we actually, when we breathe and take a moment for our nervous system, which a lot of people don't even know how to do, it is so important. But another thing is, and I teach this all the time and I don't have time to do it tonight, breath actually affects a lot with our gait, with our walk. My mother actually plateaued at 86% carbon dioxide in her body because she had drop foot. Now, she had a few other neurological things, but her body had learned how to adapt. The brain loves to close the loop, right? It's always seeking patterns and it adapts to what may not be working. The brain is always in, oh, gotta protect, gotta protect, gotta protect. And with my mother, she learned how to breathe with that much less oxygen and that much more carbon dioxide in her body.
Mm.
But breath actually is huge, and I teach that to my client. A lot of my clients that want help with their feet, I'm like, we can't even work on your feet until we work on your breath, because you're not getting that 360-degree thoracic breathing. Like if everybody took a deep breath right now, I'd have you show me like where you're getting it from. And then when you tighten your butt and gut, you may get it from somewhere else. Also, the biomechanics of our body, when we're standing or in posture, or if we're like poor Heather here is in pain, so your posture probably isn't that comfortable. But I actually encourage you, Heather, try doing a Kegel, okay? And see if that relieves any pressure in your pain. I had a client literally yesterday, and I was doing muscle testing, and I was checking her bones, and I was having her walk and watching her walk. And finally, I said, try doing a Kegel and walking. Not that I want you doing that all the time, but you can create muscle memory. But she's like, now her pain was at a 6 when we started. And I wasn't expecting her to be out of pain, but she's like, oh my God, I have no pain. I said, well, we've aligned your body and stacked it the way it needs to be. And so it's relieving pressure. She was having sciatica issues and things like that. It was relieving pressure and she had no pain. So now when she sits, she tried it sitting, she did a Kegel and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, well, if you got anything from me today, we learned how to give you some alleviation from pain when you're having a flare up or when you're in pain, because when she did that, her body aligned and it took the pressure off. Okay, so things like that. But those are nerves and it's coming from all the way from the feet. Okay. And then the other thing I want to say, because I don't have time going into all this, but cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are huge. When she was telling me, because she came to me with pain on her right knee, her right hip, her shoulder was kind of out of, but then the sciatica. And then she was telling me that she had like her hearing was off a little bit. Everything was on the right side. So I did a smell test with her. I literally did an essential oil test and had her smell, and she could smell on the left side. She could not smell from the right side. So something I want to impress upon you when we talk about that mind, body, and soul connection, when she started the test, she was a 6 in pain. Then when I had her smell, the first one was peppermint, had her close her eyes, do her nostril, had her come around this way. She could smell it and she knew what it was and could picture it. When I did the second test, it was lavender. Did the other nostril, her right side over here, she couldn't smell a thing. Brought it over to the one that was open, she still couldn't smell it. What I want you to understand, oh, and when we did the peppermint, I said, okay, what's your pain level? She said it just went to a 5. I'm like, okay, great. So the brain is receiving information. When we did the lavender side, she couldn't smell it. Everything she's having problems with is on her right side. Okay, so we did some more testing. Cranial nerves, our information comes from cranial nerves, and then it in our brainstem, and then it comes from the back to the front. A lot of people think our information goes this way. Our sensory system is the first thing affected before we even get to motor control. So if she can't smell right, I knew she's gonna be out of balance. Sure enough, she was. Because if you can't have your sensory system, how many of you believe that your eyesight affects a lot of your balance? You probably all heard that before, right? And a lot of people do this test, right? But they're not doing the test like this. Peripheral vision needs movement. So some of the tests we're getting are wrong and not giving us the true information of what the information of our brain is receiving. So there's where the mind, body, and soul connection all connect. Okay. The other thing is, I know this is on hormones and I'm going off on a tangent, but I want you to know this. The other thing is, when I talked earlier about Alzheimer, dementia, and all that, there's a thing called proprioception. This is when our brain is talking to our feet and our feet are talking to our brain. And when I say this, it doesn't happen overnight sometimes. Because how many of you ever tried spreading your toes and can do it, or tapping a toe? If I asked you to do it now, could you do an accordion with your toes? Okay, it took me a year to be able to do it. It takes a while for the brain and the feet to understand what they're trying to do. But let's talk about this. However we were created, whatever you believe, I do believe there's a higher power, but we were created to be able to walk on sticks and stones. Our ancestors did. Ground, grass, gravel, right? We were not created, or our feet were not created to work in 90% cement, asphalt, or on a cloud. Memory foam shoes, all the cushion, right? Our feet were made to be able to grip over things or walk on things. But we've been losing that communication as the decades go on. And this has been likened more and more and more to Alzheimer's and dementia more than you realize in science. Because the cushier our shoes get, okay, which I get for the symptom of pain and comfort, is not what the biomechanics of the feet or the information that our brain needs. So when the brain stops talking to when the feet stop talking to the brain, what does the brain do? Well, okay, we don't need blood down there. We don't need circulation down there. We don't need to have, we're not getting any information feedback. So, okay, we don't need that. Do you get that? Okay, so when that happens, we start losing that connection with our feet and our brain talking. And this is where people don't understand it's happening over time. But there are signs. If your feet start getting a little numb, if you, not necessarily pain, but a tightness, you know, or heaviness. I mean, your circulation's getting affected. You know, there's so many different things, but that communication is so important and we're losing it. It's one of the reasons too why they're starting to make insoles with little knobs on them, just so your feet are kind of getting some information. I tell people all the time, and you only do it if it's safe. If it's not safe for you to go out into the grass, I mean, because grounding and electric of the ground and all that's great. But if it's not safe for you, if you have diabetic feet or you have open skin, and that's a whole nother subject for another day, but if it's not safe for you to be going on these different surfaces, then buy some. Get some fake AstroTurf grass. Get some pebbles from Dollar Tree and put them in like a little mat. And then you can disinfect them after. Just step on different textures to get that information from your feet to your brain. The other thing is when our feet can't express themselves. So when I go back to Mr. Bones and I talk about that tripod, right? When the feet have to come down and those toes have to spread out. Well, let's look at what shoes are doing, right? They're kind of crunching that toe. How can the toes spread out? How can you possibly get balanced? We need to be able to have that tripod. So one of the things is I talk about is having a wider toe box. Okay, I'm sorry my shoes are dirty. They're my shoes, but I have one shoe off so I can show you my shoe. But do you see how it is the shape of a foot? So there is some definite truth to having the movement of the foot and the toes being able to spread. If we're like this all the time, we're going to tighten up. Now, another thing is get your feet sized. When I asked you if you've seen changes in your feet, how many of you had your foot sized in the past 5 years, 10 years? 1 person, 2 person, 3 person. Our feet change, remember? And as our feet are dropping, they extend. So get your foot measured and do both feet. We tend to do our prominent foot. I literally have a client who for years did that. She has 1 foot like this and the other one like this because she was wearing the wrong size shoe because it was too small for this foot. No one ever told her. She wasn't aware of it. I mean, she didn't know, but she's paying the price now. However, loves these shoes. These are Topo, by the way. Now, as your feet drop, you may need a support in a shoe, but there are ways to strengthen our feet. And a lot of people don't understand that there's muscles from the leg into the foot, but there's muscles just in the foot. If you have a lot of this in your toes, you're most likely these muscles here are getting weaker because they don't need to work. And if you're in a toe rocker shoe that comes out, the shoe's doing the work for you. So you're not even using those muscles. I encourage you to, if you're not in pain, Heather, or anyone else. I don't want anyone getting hurt on my watch, but I encourage you to try walking backwards where it's safe and feel what muscles you feel that you don't normally use because we're always walking forward. There's actually a lot of muscles in the bottoms of the foot that never get exercised. You can stretch them, but they're not getting exercise. Try walking backwards a little bit. Try rolling your foot on a tennis ball, or I use cork balls because they're antibacterial, but roll your foot on that to release up some of that fascia or muscle tension. Remember I showed you everything in this foot? Well, if it gets tied up too much and bundled too much, right, then that blood flow can't move as flowing or lymph can't move as much. And plus, we have to get it all the way back up our legs with that second heart, our calf muscle, to be able to pee out or get the nutrients or whatever needs to happen. And what happens, people start losing that. And that's when you start seeing spider veins or varicose, like, because the bad blood is pooling. And if that oxygenated blood can't get all the way back down to that big toe, and the bad blood, or the one that's not bad blood, but the blood that needs to be oxygenated back to the heart, that's a long ways. And when we start losing that connection, you'll start seeing more brittle toenails. You could see a fungal, I forget who asked me about that, because it's trauma or it's a loss of blood flow. And I see a lot of that in my clients. But once again, the body is doing, the brain's doing what it thinks it needs to do. Now, if we ever have other problems with our organs, right, then it's going to keep the blood or the circulation more towards our organs because that keeps us alive. As far as the brain thinks, we don't need hands, arms, legs, and feet to be alive. Now, we know that we really, in our mind, we need it because it's part of our life, but the brain is always protecting. The brain is always in fight or flight. How do I protect? How do I protect? That's why we get calluses. If something is rubbing in a shoe, the brain's like, need more skin, need more callus until the problem is fixed. Maybe you're not gating right, or you're rubbing in a shoe or a sock. But the brain will do that. Same thing with bone spurs. Like, oh, well, we're rubbing in a shoe. Our heel keeps coming out when they're walking. We need more bone, which for us is painful as heck. But the brain thinks it's doing the right thing because it's always in protection mode. Okay, so it's really good to find the root of these problems. Now, someone brought up fungus, and I don't want to ignore it. Fungus is in us. And when you think you have a fungal nail, there's all kinds of funguses. So unless you get it clipped and scraped underneath, like the stuff, I don't want to gross people out, but the stuff scraped out and get tested from a podiatrist, you don't truly know if it's a fungus. It could be trauma. It could be just dead nail because it's not getting the supply to the toe. So it could be that your toes are laying on top of each other in your shoe because you don't have a wide toe box. Okay, I don't know if you've ever seen like elderly people that like have icky on one side of the nail but not the other, and you're like, why did that happen? That toe has been laying on that toe for so long that it's created trauma to the nail. And once trauma happens, that's when the dermatophytes or yeast or whatever may be going on for a fungal can get into the nail. Okay, so I hope that covered some of the actual answer on that. So when you get this little booklet, you'll see about, breath is very important. I always make my clients here breathe with me, the 4-4-4, 4 in, hold for 4, 4 out. It's actually very good for the vagus nerve as well. But it's very good when you're stretching your feet. It gives you a really good stretch too, and more of a stretch than when you just breathe in, breathe out. So if you bring your feet back towards you, point your feet. I mean, these are good exercises, doing the ABCs with your feet. Literally, like this gives you the E version and ankle version so that you don't start twisting your ankle. Because you're using your foot off of a chair or a recliner and you're literally using your ankle to do the letters. Okay, that's a really good stretch as well. I want to go back to Heather when you talked about the pain in your heels, and it sounded like you said the arch of your foot too.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So you could be, as like this last sentence says, have uneven pressure on the soles of the foot, which can happen with the heels and the forefoot, but it could be how you're walking. It could be your calves are your calves tight?
No, it's I probably kind of figured out when I know what it is. It's because like, well, so I have a lot of sciatic pain, so it's like I've had like 3 back surgeries and stuff like that, and so like
Okay.
that kind of affects like how I walk sometimes, and so like I can feel the difference of it. Like one will be hurting some days, and then it just depends. And then I have like a torn meniscus in my knee, so it's all on my right side, and so it's like sometimes I favor more my left than my right because all the right is just hurting, but sometimes it is on my right side. It just depends. So, like, I just like, in order to get rid of that, I just change my shoes a lot. So, like,
Yep.
when I come inside, I put a different, softer shoes on. When I'm working, I wear a different pair of shoes. I try not to stand up too much. I walk around, I move around. I can't sit still for more than 10, maybe I can do 30 minutes and I have to get up. Like, I'm standing up right now because I can't sit down no more. But, like, I can't stand up for forever either. So it starts hurting. So I have to be mobile, like, move all the time. And so it's,
Okay.
I have a lot of stuff, but I think that's probably what some of it is. It's probably because of my back and my, all the sciatic nerve and all that pain.
There is a huge nerve, muscle in the foot that goes all the way up to our sciatica. Make sure I get your information, or Akari gets me your information. I'd love to talk to you a little more. I have some ideas, and also maybe do some cranial testing with you on Zoom that I think will help you and something you can do on your own. Because I think that what you just described, there's a few things that could help you at least to alleviate some of the pain and also answer maybe a few of the questions. Because this is one of the things, and I'm not saying yours is foot care, but Canadian surgeons have said that 76% of knee surgeries could have been prevented with proper footwear. So I say that not to like bang it into your head, but to impress upon you that we're talking footwear, never mind just the biomechanics of the foot, but all the way up the chain. Like I've been talking about, that mind, body, and soul connection. And it can be related to the sciatica. The piriformis muscle is huge in the tendons and all of that. And so we really need to understand what our body is telling us, and what signs. And then obviously Heather's had some surgeries and things like that. And you can't, sometimes prevent things, but they'll jump to surgery or a pill for an ill or something like that. And sometimes there's more to the story. right? That didn't happen overnight for Heather. I mean, you weren't in an accident or anything like that, right? I shouldn't say it didn't happen overnight. I don't know that for sure, so I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but I I kind of feel like it wasn't based on an accident. And that's a whole different scenario. But also something else to keep about that makes me think about that with accidents. And I get a lot of clients with this that have had knee replacements or hip replacements, and I'm watching them walk and I'm like, did anyone ever check to see if your legs are the same length now after your surgery? Do you know how many people that are like, oh, no, because the surgeon, say there's an accident. Well, what's the surgeon going to do? Save your leg. Well, they may have to shave some bone. They may have to put some metal. They're changing your leg, right? But you don't see them again for PT. You don't see them again for ortho. No one checked in between there to make sure the legs are the same length now, because even having an 1/8 of an inch, 16th of an inch, or anything off, that's going to throw your gait off. I watch people walk and now they're kind of swinging their leg out. They don't realize it because their body has adapted. I put them on a slow motion video, or I have people send me slow motion videos and I'm watching them walk and I'm like, do you see your leg your other leg's longer than the other? But no one thinks to check that or ask their doctor to check that, right? So all of these biomechanics and the things holistically are all tied together. And when we get deep diaphragmatic breathing, that's the breath that needs to get down into our feet. So when I was talking about keeping that circulation, keeping that lymph going, that's what we need when we gait. So a lot of times I'm just teaching people how to breathe before I can even teach them foot exercises because they can't jump to that yet. Or if I know they can't smell, I already know they're not going to have any balance or their biomechanics are a mess. So we got to start at the top. But is this making sense to everybody or is it kind of not? Okay. So magnesium is huge. There's all different kinds of magnesiums. And we're getting depleted in our nutrition, in our soil. We don't know what we're getting anymore. And so a lot of the health issues we're seeing from not getting the right amount of magnesium is all kinds of things. I don't have my list, but there's so many magnesiums. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Akari might, but that we need in our body. I don't have it. I have a list somewhere, but magnesium chloride, you can actually get into your body transdermally. So I created my own magnesium chloride, my magnesium cream and my teas. I said I have people soak in and all that because that can get into the bloodstream and not have to get affected by the whole digestive system in case your digestive system's all off whack or whatever. And it can help get into your body to support the nervous system, help with achy joints and pain. But it's not like a one use. It's like you get it into your body. So that's another mineral that really, really matters. The other thing I want to mention really quickly though too is, and especially for women, the toxins and chemicals that we have in the world now really can, like aluminum cans. There's a lot of aluminum, right, that we have, and that actually is a sweat gland blocker. So if we have our sweat glands are blocked and the bottoms of our feet have the most amount of sweat glands in the whole rest of the body, now we're depleting that chloride coming in or that hydration coming in. I mean, we have a serious problem with that, and also with other metals that are affecting like sweating. There's pesticides, there's hormones, all these different things that are disrupting our body. So we have to constantly be in that detox phase. And so we really want to focus on the minerals and nutrition that actually help us with our detox naturally, right? Tea, actually, I have here. This is really for soaking because black tea, if you have stinky feet or if you have sweaty feet, black tea, the tannins in it actually help with that. You literally soak your feet in it and it helps with the pH of the skin. That's actually a condition of the skin. So there's different things. Also the calming effect. Here people soak in tea and they sip tea in my soul sanctuary room. And there is something to be said, like we just talked about the nervous system, for taking that minute for yourself. More than a minute, few minutes. Because we're on that hamster wheel and people don't do that. Okay? Or they think they don't have time. We really need to make time for self-care. I'm probably one of the busiest people I know. Lee can attest to that. But I make time, even if it's walking around this building I'm in, or it's taking 10 minutes to breathe. I'm taking time to adjust my nervous system, or to take a minute. You know, we're always going to have crises. We're either going into a crisis, heading out of a crisis, or just finish one. It's how we react to them. And sometimes they can get really overwhelming. And so by taking that minute, you can, or a few minutes, okay, you can really rebalance your nervous system. And that goes a lot back to cranial nerves, but like I said, don't have time for, I mean, I could talk to you about feet for days because it's all related to our overall wellness. This is talking more about the proprioception I was talking about, and also the footwear. Also, back to our skin of our feet, we have no oil glands. So everybody's using oils or these lotions that are occlusive, and they can't actually moisturize or hydrate. They just kind of sit on the skin till it finally gets absorbed. But that's why some products you may use feel like they're greasy and they're just not going into the skin. We have no oil glands. The body's blocking it. Okay. But we have many more sweat glands, like I said. And also our hormones affect our skin. Happy news. But we have to work more on being hydrated and using products to help with renewal of skin cells, and just being aware that as that estrogen and progesterone drop, we become drier. I mean, let's think about all the older people we know. They're just dry skin. It's not just because they're not drinking water. It's a change in our hormones. So these are things that we need to be aware of. Flaky, rough heels and cracks and things like that can turn into something else. So you just got to be aware of the products you're using, trying to get moisture in there. You can use urea, lactic acid, the magnesium, to get moisture in there. I could go more into skin, just the skin of the feet and what we should be using, and stuff like that, but that would take a bit. But sometimes you need a product if you have the really dry, cracked heels. Sometimes you need a product that will bind the moisture into the skin. It's called TOOL, transdermal epidermal water loss prevention. So there's different things to do for that. Also, how can we strengthen our feet? Well, one of the things I try to encourage people to is not only, like I talked about, doing the alphabet with your ankles, but also doing heel raises. So I like to help people understand how to fit things into their world and not give you more to do. But I don't know about you, but pretty much in this area now, I have to pump my own gas. So when I'm pumping my gas, I'm doing leg lifts, I'm doing heel raises, and I'm doing them being aware of doing them. So I'm not just up and down, up and down. I'm going up into my toes, coming back down onto my heels, up into my toes. And you do that while you're pumping gas. You just got some good leg work, and you're holding the gas pump, so you don't have to worry about falling, you know. So that's what I do at the grocery carts in the grocery store. Anytime I can get some of that work going for my second heart, I'm doing it. And if you travel a lot, you got to be doing it in the car, on the plane. You should be getting up and moving around if you can. But that second heart, we want to keep that going. And another thing is we brush our teeth, right? Morning and night, maybe more. It takes 2 minutes. Dentist tells us 2 minutes. So I'll stand on one leg for 2 minutes at night. In the morning, I'll stand on the other leg for 2 minutes. You'd be surprised how fast those calf muscles get a little stronger. And then when they're a little stronger, try doing lifts up on just the one foot. But then now see how you can get out of a chair. Okay, I challenge everyone to do that for a few weeks, and then at the end of the month, seeing how you can get out of a chair. It's going to be a lot faster. So I don't know. Did you find that helpful? I mean, I could go on forever, but it brings the mind, body, and soul connection together because our feet and our brain and in between there, everything that's going on through in between in the body all connect. It's all connected. And I realized that when my mother had the 86% carbon dioxide in her body and we lost her at 69 and we don't really know what killed her. So my dad, he's like, go back to school, find out what killed your mom, save you and your sister. And I went to certified functional nutrition. I'm a certified functional nutrition counselor. And while I was studying with this person for those years, I realized, oh my God, learning how food and minerals and how all this stuff affects our body, overall wellness, it's so related to our feet and people don't even realize it. So it was just, and then I went to London and got gate certified, and then I started studying cranial nerves. And I'm just like, I need to stop. But it all comes together. And if we think about back to our ancestors, it's really what they did. They ate off the land was healthier. They weren't watching TV or scrolling on phones. They were working hard in the fields. They were, having fun. They'd have ice cream as a treat, but, so very different. We just go back to like how things were. Just think of how much more healthier we are, but we're in a different world. So we have to be aware of our wellness and we have to make self-care, healthcare, and prevention protection. And I thank you for helping me reach out to you ladies because you're helping me change the world one soul at a time.
I love that. Will you stop your share?
Yep. Maybe.
There we go. We get to see your beautiful face. So if you're on my newsletter, and I know Valerie is, I just did a 3-part series on the importance of creatine and how it is the most, research supplement out there. I do 20 grams per day and it's like my wake up, it just gets my brain moving. It helps my body all together. There's so much protection around it. And I take it with magnesium, glycinate, and I do, of course, what is it? Collagen, my collagen
Yeah, I forgot to
with
mention collagen, but that's huge for muscles and yeah.
vitamin C for absorption. So there's a lot of different opportunities for us to really start taking back our health. And one of the things that Dawn and I have in common is that we talk about how the health system breaks us apart. The cardiologist doesn't talk to the urologist, that doesn't talk to the gynecologist, doesn't talk to the neurologist. And so we're looked at from all sorts of pieces and no one communicates and everything is one whole. So the work that both Dawn and I share in common is that we try to teach nutrition, even though I do mental health more. But if your body is not in alignment, right? If your vessel, your temple is not balanced and ready to absorb stuff, your mind and your soul cannot be aligned. And that's just basic stuff. So what Dawn and I are doing is reminding you what it's like to be human so that you can remember, right? It's all about that remembrance, remembering where we come from, remembering why it's important to be outside taking vitamin D. Even in the winter when we don't think that there is any, there's a free app, D-Minder, that tells you what amount of vitamin D is out there and what times are the best times for you to be out there. So we have access to so much information. It's just that we lack the awareness. And not a lot of people talk about mind, body, and soul. We talk about mind, we talk about body, we talk about soul, but we talk about them in different pieces. And it's time where we start to embrace the holistic perspective, because just like Dawn talks about hormones, I talk about hormones. So I love that her and I have connected because the piece that I had not really put together was the feet. even though I do a lot of work on so many different parts of who I am. I mean, I jump rope, I carry my weighted vest, and I am barefoot all of the time. So thank you, Dawn, for really enlightening us. And I'm looking forward to really using this meeting to start to bring more awareness to the work that we do, because we're ahead of ourselves. Not everyone's ready for the amount of information that we have to share to others. But why don't you go ahead and talk to us about your school community, because I know that that's getting really big.
Yes, so I'm growing my school community and I welcome you all there. The link is on the side if you want to join us. I'm going to be doing more and more little tips in there, plus building community. And then there's going to be more things in the classroom. And then Akari's going to come and be on a live for me. She doesn't know that yet, but I'm going to be having more live and different practitioners. I have a orthomolecular kinesiologist that's going to come on with us to help us understand more about our supplements and what a good supplement, and there's a lot of stuff you need to know about that, and some other things. And so I'm excited to welcome you. It's free to join. There will be other things going on in there, but I'd love to have you. And I'm going to be doing little tidbits of this and little videos. It's just getting going, but little videos, a little snippets. So you may see some some toe strengthening things, or a little bit more about vitamin D. I mean, I could only cover a little bit tonight. So there'll be a lot more in the hub. So I welcome you.
Any questions that you ladies may have, something that just came up as you're watching this presentation that's reminding you of something that either you're experiencing or that you know someone who has experienced it? Because there's always someone that we know that needs this information. Is there any questions or anything? I love it.
I could use Dawn to come to Arizona to tend to my frizzies on my feet.
Well, if she goes to Arizona, then she's going to have to stop by and see Valerie, because she's in Tucson.
I know. So Jessica used to live here and she used to be my client, but it's not like I can fly to Arizona every day. But I might be coming out there, so we'll stay tuned. So
Well,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. So if you're going to Arizona, Valerie's there too. So you have two people to hang out with.
gotcha. So, well, thank you, everyone. I hope did everyone get a little nugget? Was it helpful, or was it over your head? I want feedback.
Well, it's
I
helpful
think
for me because I already had a base understanding of a lot of your work. So some of the things that I learned a little bit more about how the rest of the body was more connected to just the feet.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, I've changed a bit, Jessica, since we've been together. So thank you for sharing.
Heather,
I
go.
was gonna say, it was very informative. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't realize about, the feet. I mean, I know they always talk about like pressure points in your feet that help you with other things. And
Mhm.
so, and it's like you just explaining like all the little nerves down to the feet, like they affect everything. And so like, when the rest of you hurt, like they hurt. So now, I can put a connection together with it, and I'll be excited to look at that book. So for sure, like I think it was just very, very informative.
Good. Glad. And reach out to me because I do want to talk to you, and join the school hub because there'll be a lot of information in there too.
Definitely.
Thank you, Heather.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. Lee, great to have you. Magenta, love to have you. Valerie, love to see you. And Heather, I love to see you too. Thank you for joining. That's such a amazing opportunity. We just met today, so it was awesome. And in a couple weeks there, we're having either a heart presentation from the Human Design Chart, or I have a woman who is going to be coming and talking about laughing yoga and starting to use laughter as our medicine. So I love having all of these amazing women who come and teach us for that, that box of things that you don't know that you don't know. Have a good evening, everyone. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
You.
Thank you.
For, joining us and for gifting us so much of your amazing knowledge. I think that we don't have enough opportunities like this to share some of the knowledge and wisdom that you and I have, because really truly we share that whole body perspective, and we don't have any practitioners out there that look at things the way that you and I look at it. And we're so deep into the work. Like for me, I ask my coaching clients for blood work so that I can take a look at what's going on with their insulin and all of that so that I
Yeah.
can help them. And it's novice, right? Like it's like people will go, oh, well, it's too much. Like I have to learn how to, how to read blood work or whatever. And they